Welcome back to another episode of The Mind of Reese. Holy shit, I fucking miss you guys. I feel like it's been forever since I have done an episode. It's been a whirlwind crazy. So happy fucking New Year. On here this year, I feel like my biggest intention is to serve. So if you've been following me on Instagram, I've been asking the question, like, what is your word of the year? What is your sentence of the year? So I have two. So it's like, for me, it's like the two things for me. It's not necessarily a resolution. It's just something I'm going to live by. So last year it was very much in the way of surrender. I wanted to surrender. Reason being was that the year before, in 2022 or 2023, I was like, holy moly, it was, I don't know why 2023 I thought was like going to be the greatest of all years, because I had made so many different decisions. I closed down a shop. I opened up a new shop. It was all this crazy stuff. And I was like, okay, I've put myself in a position where I was, really leaning into coaching, and I had Forex to my business in 2022, and I had, it was so interesting, and it was the year that I had very closely hit like a 700K year, and I was like, yeah, 2023 is gonna be my year, and it felt so hard. 2023 felt like I pushed so hard and did not even close to what I had made in 2022. So I felt like such a fucking failure. And I was like, oh my gosh. So in 2024, I was like, I'm surrendering. Like, for me, it was like, I love the idea of having monetary goals, but it was the year that I was like, I'm deepening into my relationship to God, to spirit, and I want my spiritual practices to be longer for no other reason, for no goal. Like, to find like enlightenment, they say, like in Buddhism or in other different type of like monk orientation, it's really like enlightenment isn't a goal, it's a way of being. And so for me, with last year, I was like, I'm surrendering to whatever happens. I love the idea of having monetary goals because I am such a monetary girl. Like, I love money, and I love like having those types of goals. I'm very goal driven, and I didn't want those goals to define me. So that was the difference that I had made. I was like, I still have goals, but I didn't really care if I met them or not, and in 2024, I was like, surrender, and I do hard things with ease. That was my line. Surrender, I do hard things with ease. And I got to tell you that when I meant I do hard things with ease, it meant that I leaned so far into my practices of how I handle hard situations, hard emotions, discomforting emotions, discomfort, uncomfortable, fear, doubt, imposter syndrome, comparisonitis. And I got really fucking good. And cultivated many habits by way of having back pocket tools in order for me to become braver, step into bravery, stretch my nervous system to higher cash months. And in 2024, we, in my business, we made $500,000, and I was like so proud of that, even though it was a lot closer to 2022, and it was 100K over 2023. The thing was, the best part about 2024 was that it felt so fucking easy. I didn't push. I had way more time than I ever had in my life. I made some really gnarly, scary fucking decisions. I let go of so much shit that scared the shit out of me, but I knew was in alignment to myself and to who I am. And what's so interesting about alignment, you guys, is that alignment doesn't mean it feels good. Alignment actually means that it feels fucking scary and exciting all at the same time. And that means it's a green light to go. Alignment means stretching. Alignment means being uncomfortable. Alignment means having faith. Alignment means surrender. And alignment does not mean that you feel comfortable at all. Even when I had more time on my hands, I felt really uncomfortable in that. I was like, why do I have so much time? And I realized I was like, I could do more. But I was like, that is not in alignment to who I am. And so I had to actually take a step back and really think about my 80-20. Now, you guys know I talk a lot about the book. It's literally on my other side. If you're watching me via YouTube, see me look over. It's literally on my desk. 10X is Easier Than 2X by Ben Hardy and Dan Sullivan. Such a great thing. It's like I'm always constantly reevaluating what my 80-20 is. Because, 80% of the results is reaped by 20% of the things that you were doing. So all the other 80% of the things that you were doing are not actually getting you the results that you want. And so I'm letting go of all those 80% of the results, delegating them out, or just getting rid of them all the way and focusing only on the 20. And that shit's scary because it's an identity shift. I have to continuously get braver and braver and braver and do brave things and take action that doesn't feel good. And that's what alignment means. So now I'm here in 2025 and just being like, yeah, so my word of the year is service. And what I mean service, not only, I mean service to my community, but service to spirit, like service to God. I was like, okay, I'm really leaning into my spirituality this year, like so fucking hard. Like I'm in full trust mode because last year was surrender and it felt so good. And even though a lot of it was hard, losing my father, dealing with the emotions of that because our relationship was very precarious, letting go of like my business, letting go of parts of my businesses that I was like, oh my gosh, I feel so like comfortable in here, realizing things, really shifting my messaging, really refining and deepening and really leaning into that like vulnerability, really, really full sending in like my story, telling my story over and over again in front of people that I looked up to. And I was so afraid of them judging me, like really leaning in hard. And it was scary. Like the amount of, I've told my story millions of, like not millions, like hundreds of times, but to do it in front of people, like face to face on other people's podcasts where it's no longer like, I don't have control. I don't have control. It's, I don't have control of the space. It's their community that's listening to it. That shit's scary. Like when I'm on stage talking about it to people, a bunch of coaches, that shit's scary when they're looking me in the eyes and I can see a reaction from a split second of whether they're judging me or not. That shit is scary. When you get to hide behind an Instagram page and tell your story and you don't have to actually read the comments because you're like, I'm protecting my peace. That shit's not that scary once you've done it 100 times. So I was stepping into a new way. And man, did I grow like a motherfucker. So in 2025, I'm like, I'm in service to spirit because I trusted, I surrendered, and it brought me so much peace. I did so many hard things with ease. I've grown my toolbox, my back pocket toolbox, metaphorical toolbox on any time I'm like getting so good at my awareness. I'm so good at catching my triggers, my habits, and learning and really creating change within my life and my identity. And it's the only way that you can create change within your business is by changing the identity, by changing the beliefs that you have about yourself and what you're capable of. And so for me, that's always the first step. It's the first step in my iconic brand method. When you're building a personal brand, it's the first step, when you come into the ARC membership, this is what you learn. And this is what I offer as you continue to learn how to create these back pocket tools that continuously help you up level in your business and create high cash months. We need to stretch the capacity for you to create high cash months within your body. So I was doing that and I was like, holy crap, I made $500,000 so easy, traveling the world, doing whatever I want. In 2022, I was doing 2-a-day TikToks, 1 post a day. In 2024, I did barely anything. I only posted on Instagram and I was booking out with 1 email. I was like, oh my gosh, this is getting so easy. Like, what am I doing? It's because of my willingness to show the fuck up. And I surrendered and I was like, I'm going to continue to be in alignment, which is uncomfortable. This year, it's service. I'm like, how much deeper, how much better can I get my people results? I don't give a fuck about how much money I make because I know that the faster I can get you, a listener or someone, an artist, an entrepreneur, a coach, a result in my space because I'm refining and learning more and learning more and learning more, I know that that's going to build my business. It's going to build the longevity and sustainability and scalability of my business. Like at this point, it doesn't even matter. Money is easy to make. That in my mind, I've cultivated this confidence around money and the relationship that I have around money over the years, which I highly recommend if you are not in the ARC, my membership, no brainer, cancel anytime, monthly membership, literally be in there for 6 months. You will change the entire way of how you not only brand yourself, how you do business, but also your capacity to hold money. We're going to shift the relationship you have with money and with clients and how you gain them. Because once you do that, then it becomes easy. It becomes so easy. And I've realized this over time. And this is the reason why I created my Body Wise and Wealthy method, because I was like, Body Wise and Wealthy method is all the back pocket tools that you will need in order for you to really call in those high cash months, in order for you to do hard things with ease. You want to learn how to do hard things with ease. You want to be more in alignment. You want to find your purpose. You want to be more fulfilled. You want to find more joy as your baseline. You want more aligned clients. You want more money, success, wealth from the inside out. Body Wise and Wealthy method. Learn those tools. I swear to God. I swear to God. It is not my work that's shining through me. That is all Spirit's work, baby. And I'm giving it to you. I'm just the vessel here. The human that figured it out my own way and utilizing that. And there you go. Full send. Join the arc. Do it now. Just get yourself in there. The link is there. Okay. So coming back. So we're like, here we go. Service. And then my line was really interesting because all of a sudden, the first day of the year comes through and I'm like, oh, okay, wow. It's like, we are here. And all of a sudden I'm being bombarded with all this 30 ways to blow up your business, and here, hit the reset button, and here's all the ways you're going to market yourself in this new year, and da-da-da. And I was like, oh my God, there's so much noise. There is so much noise. And it was making me feel really uncomfortable. It was like all of a sudden I was feeling myself comparing, and I was like, ooh, interesting. And as I find myself comparing, it's because I'm, again, my awareness is your superpower, baby. Awareness is your superpower. The better you get at understanding how to become more aware, again, Body Wise and Wealthy method, you will start to see the patterns that you have you can turn into fuel. So my comparison didn't make me feel like I needed to do more, because oftentimes when we get comparison, we feel like we're feeling left behind because we see someone else doing something and we're like, oh my God, we're not doing that. We need to fall forward. We need to go hurry up. We need to sprint to the next goal. I was like, whoa, I feel comparison. And it overwhelms you because you start to worry like you're not doing enough and you're not enough. And then now the worry is here and now I'm confused. So now I have confusion because, oh my gosh, I'm confused. I don't know what to do because there's all these shiny object things and everybody's saying you should do this or that or this or that in order for this business to grow and grow and grow. And then now I'm overwhelmed because now overwhelm is here and I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't know what to do. Where do I start? Da 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 da. Then I'm like, oh, wow, hello, sexy thing. Here you go. Hi. If you were with me in December, we were doing with Dancing with Your Shadow December, learning a lot about shadow work. And and so what's so great about this was that I was like, oh, look at that. Look at that feeling. And instead, again, utilizing my own methodology, the Body Wise and Wealthy method, to channel all of that energy. Because I got aware of it, I was able to channel this energy and utilize it as fuel. And I was like, oh, I'm going to take a step back, actually. And I'm going to turn this into something that I know is going to be the best. Because I already know that what I did last year was so easy. And I know I'm going to have another year like that. Why? Because everything is working. All I'm doing is deepening and refining. And then I realized that was my line. I was like, everything is fucking working. Everything already fucking works. I'm just deepening and refining. I'm just going deeper and refining. I'm not going wider. I'm not doing more. I'm not changing anything. Everything fucking works. I had the best year, the best time last year. And it wasn't even it was hard, but it wasn't hard. If you understand my meaning. If you're on this spiritual path, you understand that. Death and rebirth. We get so good at dying and being reborn. When we get so good at, dark nights of the soul, really committing to the fact that I'm going to experience whole human experience. I'm going to commit to this fucking thing that my soul signed up for. Then all of a sudden it's like, wow, this actually was a lot easier than me trying to perform for the algorithm or trying to do whatever or trying to be whomever. I was just myself. And it was like, oh my gosh, I don't have to perform for anybody. I'm literally just being myself, utilizing my lived and alive stories to share with my people, let them know that, hey, I've been where you've been. I'm here to guide you. My content is here to wake you the fuck up and help you see a different perception of yourselves that I see. Because you are me and I am you and we are one, baby. And so when I think about this, I'm like, okay, everything's fucking working. I don't need to do what the guy across the street's doing. I don't need to do what the tattoo artist is doing over there. I don't need to do what that coach is doing over there. I'm just going to continue what I'm doing, continue to be in rooms that normalize my crazy ass fucking dreams, of course, because I truly believe in mentorship. Hundreds of thousands of dollars invested in mentorship. I'm about to spend another 50 grand in mentorship. Like, I truly believe in it because I just want to be around people that get me, that understand that I don't need, like, they see this way. They're like, Reese's way is the way. This is what we're doing. So this is where, like, I'm at. So everything works. Everything's fucking working. We're just deepening and refining. And how cool would that be if you just decided that you were actually going to stick to one plan for an entire year, even if the first, third, fifth try it didn't work and you were like, no, I'm going to trust that this works because I was called to it. Instead of hopping around to every little shiny object thing that you see. Oh, this go viral. Oh, this. Maybe I need a marketing team. Maybe I need to hire this person. Maybe I need to join this marketing program, this social media marketing program. Maybe I need to hire this thing. Maybe I need to do this. Maybe I need to go viral. Maybe I need to copy this person. Maybe it worked for them. Maybe it'll work for me. How about instead of all of that, we stick to one thing and we say to ourselves, I'm going to stick to this thing and commit for a full fucking year. And I really challenged myself last year. I really challenged myself in that. I was like, okay, I'm going to surrender and I'm going to do hard things with ease. And anytime something was hard, which, honest, a lot of things were hard. Like spending $75,000, actually seeing that money, pressing the pay button is so hard. It's so hard to do. It's like, it's an interesting thing. And it's like, when I think about it as hard, I'm like, I do hard things with ease. And I press that fucking button. Anytime, like, when my dad died and I was just like, I don't know how I feel about this and I'm really fucking angry, but I feel like I shouldn't be angry. And then I was like, oh, here I am shitting myself. Okay, I do hard things with ease. I'm not going to shit myself. I'm going to allow myself to be exactly how I feel. And I'm going to grieve however I want to grieve. Anytime I get hurt by a hater and I tell myself I shouldn't get hurt by a hater and I try to hold that feeling down, I'm going to actually feel the feeling of me being hurt. Oh, that's fucking way hard. I'm telling you right now. Tell me that shit isn't hard. Tell me it's not hard to feel judgment. You know what I mean? Tell me it's not hard to feel worry. Tell me it's not hard to feel scarcity. Tell me it's not hard to feel confused or overwhelmed or overworked. That shit's hard to feel those things. It's super hard. And sometimes we often feel them because it's a pattern within us as a survival mechanism. And the reason why it's survival is because we're trying to avoid it. What if we leaned into it? That was the thing. I was leaning in. That was the hard part. And I leaned in hard because I was like, I told myself I would. I told the world I would. So we're going to do this. And I got really good at it. And so now this year, I'm still really good at it. I'm still feeling hard things. I feel the comparison, I feel the doubt, all the things. I'm just really good at alchemizing it. How I turn because all it is energy. And if you know how to channel that energy and funnel it into action, oh my God. Whoa. Talk about knowing you're going to hit $1 million. Like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah. Talk about knowing you're going to hit your first 7 figures and it's just going to go up from there. It just gets to be fun. And talk about just enjoying the journey. We're all here being like, it's not about the destination, it's about the journey. And you're like, do you actually believe that shit? When you actually believe that shit, you're like, wow, you feel different. I feel different. I'm the kind of girl that wants to know the end of the story before I watch the beginning. Like, I'm that girl. I'm like, get me to the fucking end. Get me to the destination. And so to shift myself into enjoying the journey and to flirting with the fucking surprise of what's going to happen today, tomorrow, and the next day, and realizing that everything's working, I'm just deepening and refining. Fuck. It's so funny because it was happening the other day. I was noticing my content wasn't doing as well as it had been in the last few weeks, especially during Christmas. I was killing it. My sales were up. I was like, oh my gosh, what is happening? You know, people are getting like sending me deposits for tattoos. I was like, wow, who says people don't buy during the holiday season? I'm going to literally stop that right there because there were so many people buying in the holiday season. I think December was one of my best months. I was like, wow, this is great. And so it was like, I was like, yeah. And then we get into the new year and I'm all fired up. And then I'm like, that didn't quite hit. The next one, I'm like, that didn't quite hit. And then I'm seeing so many other people like it's hitting. I could feel myself getting comparisons, starting to worry, starting to grasp at things. I could feel the whole pattern going. And I'm like, nope. Number one, I do hard things with ease. That's just like a natural thing for me now. But number two, everything's working. I'm just deepening and refining. So now I don't take it personal. I'm just like, I'm not going to take this personal. What's working? What really, really worked? It's already working. People are bought in. How can I rephrase it? How can I refine it? How can I deepen into it? Is this really what I'm trying to say, or am I grasping? I start to really ask myself honest questions. The quality question you ask is the quality of life that you'll live. Tony Robbins, baby. So in this episode, I want to ask you the question of what is your word of the year? And what is your phrase of the year? And I want you to commit to it. And instead of bouncing around to all shiny object syndrome, I feel like instead of trying to bounce to all these different things on how you can make your business better or grow it or whatever, it's like, can you stick with the one thing? Can you stick with one thing for a whole year? The line was so easy last year, surrender, and I do hard things with ease. And I stuck with it the whole year. And now it's just ingrained into me. It's an identity. I do hard things with ease. I am a person who does hard things with ease. I am. That is an identity. That is a part of my imprint. It's funny about identity. I talk about identity a lot in the arc. And I talk a lot about the aspects of how we change identity, how you change your identity. And the way we change an identity, and you got to think about it. Your identity, your personality, is made up of a series of heightened emotional experiences. You had a heightened emotion experience, it's imprinted onto your nervous system, it's imprinted onto your DNA, it's imprinted onto your chromosomes, it's imprinted in your body. So you have this imprint, whether good or bad, because like whether you define the experience as good or whether you define the experience as bad, completely up to you. But you have these emotional experiences that create I am statements. I am afraid of roller coasters. I am, afraid of heights. I am a good tattoo artist. I am a tattoo artist. I am a coach. I am an entrepreneur. I am blonde. I am, these are just like aspects. These are aspects to us, but we create I am statements around them because this is what we believe we are. And so when we have we've created all these heightened emotional experiences that imprint this identity onto us, the way we change identity is to have heightened emotional experiences. So when I said I do hard things with ease last year, it meant that I didn't avoid hard feelings. Because that's all it is that we're experiencing. The experience outside of us is totally up to the person perceiving the experience. You've heard this before. 5 people could be in the same situation, having the same exact experience and perceive it differently. Roller coaster, easy enough. Tattoos, look at your clients. They're all different. Be the same tattoo on the outside of an arm, normally the easy spot, but someone's crying about it. And you're like, wow, that's a different experience for that person. But then, 90-year-old grandma over there is being like a fucking gangster about it. And you're like, wow, okay. It's a different experience about it, right? So the thing is, people experience pain differently. People experience, and people experience emotional experiences differently. They experience external experiences differently. And it's all based on emotion. Let's, for instance, talk about lack of money. Like, oh my gosh, I experience, not making enough money differently than maybe someone down the street, because of the way that I channel my own emotional understanding, my own emotional maturity. because my value is emotional maturity, emotional mastery. That is something that I value highly. That's growth to me. Not growth in my bank account, growth in other things. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love growth in all things. Like, I love all the things. And I'm not afraid to talk about it. But my main one, my number one, is emotional mastery. Like, I am obsessed. It is an obsession of mine. You've been with me for any length of time, you will know that. And the reason why is because I truly do believe it's the whole reason and the gamut behind every single thing that you will have and you will perceive in your personal reality. Because your identity is the I am statement, which creates your personality, right? Which then begets your personal reality, because your internal world is just a mirror of your external world. So whatever's happening in your external world, just know that that is a mirror of your internal world. So how I perceive not making X, Y, and Z money, or not meeting a goal, like let's say I was like, I'm going to make 20K months this year, right? Like, that's a lot of goal that I love to teach in my spaces, because that's 240K a year. And that's a fucking gangster fucking, like, that's $250,000 a year for a tattoo artist. And it's so fucking doable. And I believe in it because I've done it many times. I've done it for years. You know? I don't tattoo as much as I used to, so I'm not doing that in my tattoo business, but I've definitely done it in my coaching business. Again, another business, a totally other business that I flipped that is so successful. So it's obvious that, like, the emotional mastery thing works, because for me, I was able to go in a different direction. I'm still a tattoo artist, but I'm not tattooing as much. I put my energy into coaching, and all of a sudden here I am doing the same emotional mastery work that would happen in this business or that business or whatever. And I still built another multi six-figure business. $250,000 on the tattoo side, $500,000 on the coaching side. So, like, this is where I'm at right now. And so now my business as a whole, my entire company, because I love building personal brands, it is all under one umbrella. So I'm creating clients, because I believe that we create our clients because they are a mirror of who we are. So I'm creating clients based on what my values are. And now here I have a business that's based in all my values with one brand message, the ultimate octopus business. And then all of a sudden I have two very successful multi six-figure businesses. You know, I make over 100 and I think it's 20K in my tattoo business, working 6 days a month. I've had a six-figure tattoo business for, I don't know, I would say after my rock bottom moment, probably started back up in 2019. You know, after, you know, and even before my rock bottom moment, I was very close to a six-figure a year. I was making, and then multi six figures by, or 2018, making my first six figures in 2018, multi six figures in 2019. Obviously, we had 2020, but I still made a six-figure year that year. And then from there, then like 2021, gosh, I was at $250,000, 2021, 22, 23. And 2024 was when I decided to go down to 6 days a week. So I cut my income in half so that I could really focus on the other side of my business, which was this really scary thing. But again, I do hard things with ease. So it was one of those things where I was just like, I truly believe in my methodology. I'm going to do this to prove it to myself that it is, and I'm going to teach it. I'm going to find the steps and teach it. I'm going to show people that they can do it too, and they can do this with any business. And here we are, two multi six-figure businesses, traveling the world, doing all the things I want to do with ease. And so what I want to challenge you for this year is that the reason why for me it's refine and deepen is because of the fact that I know that the thing that I'm doing is working. Now, if right now you feel really confused about what's working, then maybe choose something that really feels aligned for you right now. Really choose something that really feels aligned for you right now. A big recommendation would be to also get into rooms or groups with people that see things the way you see them. Oftentimes, a lot what happens with artists and even entrepreneurs is that we feel so solo. We feel so like lone wolfy. We're like, let me just be a lone wolf, you know? Coaches are a little bit different. We understand the power of coaching because that's the reason why we coach. You know what I mean? We understand the power of mentorship because that's the reason why we mentor. And we understand the power of investment, but it still goes the same way. Like even with coaches, we find shiny object syndrome. We're always bouncing from coach to coach to coach because we're like, okay, this thing will work better because I see this person's working for them, da-da-da-da-da-da. And there's nothing wrong with that. The thing is that we don't actually give ourselves enough time to see things through. Can you be a woman, man, person of your word? That's what I'm asking. Can you stick to one thing for an entire year? Challenge yourself and just take it day by fucking day. Just take it day by day. Yes, I do hard things with ease. Don't get me wrong that I didn't fall into a fucking pattern that got me into like that led me down numbing stages where I just wanted to read all day and not or watch Netflix all day or smoke weed or something and just like be out of it because I was just like overwhelmed. And I was just like feeling scarcity, feeling like, oh, this isn't working. You know, that's, you know, the reason why I got into rooms was because those times when I felt that, when I finally got off the couch and I was like, all right, I just need some community here. I need someone to have my back and tell me, like, be my cheerleader and hold me the fuck accountable for the thing I said I was going to do. I had a mentor for that. And that's why it's like, I feel like that this is the reason why I love being in my own community, like the community that I've created with other artists, coaches, entrepreneurs, because of the fact that I'm like, damn, like you guys give me so much fucking energy to do what I do. You guys like make me a better guide. Like I love being in spaces with you because I get to understand, you know, and I get to recommit to my own practice. This is the whole point of having a business. It's so purpose fueled, you know, and it's funny. I teach this a lot in Beyond the Stars, my 1 year long mentorship experience where we help you build personal brands. Yes, that right there is 1 year. I teach a lot about what purpose even means. And purpose isn't something that you just like fucking have to find. Purpose is a fucking choice. It's a conviction. I have conviction to the thing that I teach because I love it so much for myself. Like I would do it for free. You know what I mean? But I understand my value. I understand my worth. Why? Because I've done it. My body, wise, and wealthy method. Again, your worthiness, your confidence. Like sometimes we feel like we're unworthy of the thing. Sometimes we are like, I have to wait till I'm this way in order to be ready or something of that nature. And it's like, actually, the hard thing is to do something before you feel ready. The hard thing is to do something brave before you feel confident. The alignment is to step into the unknown, not understanding if it'll actually quote unquote work. The hard thing is to actually believe that it's working even without evidence. And that's the thing, is that like, that's where alignment lies. That's why I'm like, everything is working. I've proved it to myself time and time and time again. Over the years, I've just gotten really good at noticing it, being aware of what I'm doing. That's why it's deepening and refining now this year. This year, I just know it works. I'm like, yeah, it works. I have a sustainable business that's made me, I haven't been under $400K a year since 2020. Since 2019. You know, I owned a shop. It's like so interesting the how the things changed. Like when I opened up, I owned a shop, a private studio. I had 2 artists with me since 2018. Started really building that business, that other income streams since 2018. I started to notice like, oh, and then I was also, so I had apprentices at that time as well. And I was teaching them how to build businesses, and the more money they made, the more money I made. And they were making money like really quick. God, they were like, my apprentices, I was like, the way that I'm teaching them is so gangster, because I wasn't teaching them like, I'm not the best tattooer, but I was teaching them how to tattoo, but I was also teaching them how to build a business. Now I'm really good at that. I'm really good at helping people build businesses. So when I taught them how to build a business, they already had high paying clients by the time they were full send tattooing. Both of my apprentices quit their side hustle jobs, like their bartending jobs, pretty much 6 months into doing, being my apprentice, and then tattooing within the first 3 months. They were already making over 50K their first years. And I was like, damn, I'm actually really good at this. I'm really good at helping people understand how to market themselves. And that's really where this idea had come from. And I was like, okay. And so when I started to do that, then my tattoo shop started to blow up. And so I was like, oh wow, look at all this extra income I'm making, plus the income that I'm making from my own business and how I'm marketing myself here. Now, at the time, I was managing by myself. I was doing 3 posts a day, 2 days on TikTok, 1 a day on Instagram. I was also posting on YouTube, and it was just like all this crazy stuff. I started my podcast in 2020. I was just like, oh my God, doing all these things. I was making so much fucking content. I was just like, go, go, go energy, growing my following so fucking fast and all this stuff. And it was just like helping my people grow their following. And I was like, okay, here we go. And I wanted to step back. I was like, I don't want to have to create 1 million pieces of content a day in order for me to continue to grow. I want to like understand this a little bit more and deepen. So I opened up a shop in 2020, even though everything was closed down. The shop did fucking killer. Hired another tattooer. This is when I hired Kayla, my fucking ride or die. I love that bitch. And then we went into like, okay, so that year it was like, okay, we're making multiple 6-figure years. And this was like, I started to dabble into coaching. And the first year I did this in coaching because I was getting really good at understanding how to market myself. So what ended up happening was I was like, I made $40K a year in my side hustle business. Oh my God. Okay. That's cool. Extra $40K on top of what my shop is making on top of this. So I was opening up a side hustle business, managing a tattoo shop of 4 different artists and revolving guest artists that were coming through, and tattooing all at the same time, and posting 3 times almost a fucking day. Whoa, banana crazy. Banana crazy. And I know sometimes it's what it takes when you start new businesses. Like that's what it was. So I was like, all right. I felt it. I was deepening my relationship to God at the time too in 2020. My relationship to spirit was like a huge thing, but I was still like battling with it. I was barely coming out of the spiritual closet at the time, even though, I had called myself a spiritual business coach because I was like, this is who I am and I know it and I want to just own this shit. And this is who I want to become. So I owned it. I was like, I'm going to be the authority of this, even though I'm not like super, like, even though I haven't been super spiritual outside. I was always really spiritual because I was having my own spiritual awakenings. But it was like I wasn't at the forefront with it. And then I really deepened into it because I claimed the identity. So I was like, okay, here's this claimed identity. Okay, let's go. So I'm doing all these things. 2021 rolls around. Again, doing all of these things. And then 2021 rolls around. I was the first time I hired a coach. And I was like, all right, here we go. Holy moly. 2022, greatest year. Oh my gosh, I'm still had the business. And then I was like, I got a little download like, oh, I gotta get rid of the shop. And that was scary. That was like, it was $100K worth of money. And I was like, oh my gosh, okay, hard things with ease. Here we go. Did it again. Like, I was like, okay, all of these artists I built up, I was like, fly birdies fly. You're going to go out into the world and open up your own shops. They're like besties. They're making good money. They're doing their fucking things. Some of them are like gearing up to buy houses and stuff like this. It's just fucking amazing. And I'm just like, this is crazy. And these kids are like 5 years old. They're so young. So young, and I've known them since they were like 22 little babies, you know what I mean? And now they're just fucking killing the game. And I just fucking love it. Sustainable businesses is what I was like, I could do this. I can help people do this. So there's a lot of shifting and a lot of crazy. And this is a reason why I'm just like, wow, ever since I had my rock bottom moment and when I started to really gear up in spirituality, the one thing that I've always been super obsessed with was personal development, and emotional mastery became my next obsession. And what I noticed is that when I focused on that, I was able to let go of so many things in such little time. Like, I was like, the moment I downloaded, I need to let go of the shop, I did it. And then I let go of the shop. The moment that I knew that I needed to cut my tattoo business in half so I could focus more on the results that I was getting for the artists that were paying me, I was like, okay, I'm going to do that. The moment that I had to shift or, have breakups with boyfriends or move out and deal with the heartbreak, deal with like grief, deal with all these things and still continue to run a business. It was all about emotion. And I started to realize, I was like, if I could get really fucking good at doing that, then I could take over the fucking world. And it's so interesting because 7, 8, 9-figure earners who I've been in rooms with are saying the same fucking thing. And yet we just don't hear it until we try it. And so that is my challenge to you. That is my challenge to you. What is your word? What is your sentence? What are you committed to for the entire year? And what methodology, strategy are you committed to for an entire year? And sticking with it and being a man, woman, person of your word. Right? So I love you guys. Sending you guys so much love. Into the ethers. I'm hugging you in the quantum. If you guys do want to join us for the arc, we just started our 7-month. We're going down the entire methodology of the iconic method and how to build a business. It's basically how to build a brand, a personal brand. Really gaining that confidence to being seen, learning how to create your messaging around your own stories, how to utilize your stories and all of this stuff. And really learning the emotional mastery piece of growing a business. Because without it, you could get all the strategies and it just doesn't always work the same for others. You're always like, why is it working for them and it doesn't work for me? That's because someone cracked the code on their emotional mastery. It's also because they know how to really be them in the online space. Authenticity is just like, it's so fucking magnetic. Charisma is so fucking magnetic. And when we're willing to be seen in that way, your business will just blow the fuck up. All right. I love you guys. Happy New Year.